I was recently sent Frost River Isle Royale. It's not called the Senior, but the big one. And I'm going to swap that out with the Isle Royale Junior. I don't know why, but I've been seeing this come up quite a bit on Facebook. People wanting to switch out the Junior for the Senior. I guess maybe it's smaller frame people or people that just carry a smaller load. I don't know, but I noticed when I went on that overnight, I think that 45 liters is a perfect size, but I wasn't able to take a couple of things that I wanted to take. I'm going to go ahead and switch these two out because there's not really a way for me to get a good idea to the difference in size just by looking at them. I'm going to switch my load from my Junior over to the larger pack. I've been asked to do a video a couple of times on what I actually carry in my bag. So I thought I'd take this opportunity switching out the bags before I go to the post office and send the Junior off. Sorry for the background noises. I got dogs drinking and snorting and playing, whatever. But I'm going to go ahead and try to knock this video out before I go to the post office. So stick around. I'm going to move the camera and then I'll show you what I carry in my backpack. This is a side-by-side of the Junior and the larger pack, which would be the Senior, I guess. And that fat-headed dog right there is Buster. Buster! He's giving me the cold shoulder right now. So, anyways, this is the pack I usually take with me, and that's the pack I'm moving everything into. So again, this is the larger one here. I will remove this. I always take this, which is it's 2 shmogs and my wool blanket shirt. And this is the Hidden Woodsman bedroll system. I don't know. But these 2 metal D-rings at the top here, I'm able to clip on the top of my backpack. So I can tie this to the top of the backpack. I always have this no matter what, hot or cold, it's going with me. I guess I'll start with the outside here. This is my table that Pacific Northwest Bushcraft made me. It's been in a couple of videos. It'll be in another video coming up by itself, as well as my solo overnight at Baker Lake, where I set it up. And the last video that I did, Camp 2 Deer, it was in that video as well, and I explained a little bit about how I set it up, but I did not show the different configurations. So this will be coming up. On the other side, this is my hammock chair that Pacific Northwest Bushcraft made me. It is also out of waxed canvas. Yes, I see you, Buster. Also has a stool in it. But I'll go ahead and show a couple of pictures of the table and the chair setup. Also, on the outside of the pack, I have a Petzl headlamp holder, and this has the, man, I can't remember what these are called, but the Maxpedition D-ring to hold it onto the leather strap. I can't remember what these are called. Anyways, I don't use a Petzl headlamp, but this has a night eyes headlamp. It's very bright, and it shows a red and white light, and a bunch of different modes. So if you're curious about this, I'll do a separate video on it. But right now, I just carry it on the outside of my pack. Okay, here I have a tinder pouch that I carry also on the outside of my pack that I can wear on my belt. And this is a waxed, or actually it's cotton duct, I think. I don't know if it's waxed canvas. I don't think it is. but this is a tinder pouch, kind of like a Maxpedition roly-poly, but it's canvas and leather. This was also made by Pacific Northwest Bushcraft, and it was also in a video that I did previously called Goods from Pacific Northwest Bushcraft, if you want to check that out. Okay, on the top, I carry this. Timber. I'm trying to shoot a video, gosh. I got this at Walmart, and I think this is, I can't remember the brand name of it, but I carry a marker, 2 of these little wire deals, wire wraps, and probably 3 or 4 separate maps of the areas that I explore. So I'm here in the Pacific Northwest, and there are specific regions that I go to, and the maps that I choose I can write on. They're also waterproof and tear resistant. At the top of one of these, I have a compass that I discovered. The markings on the compass are off. I also have ranger beads, which I still haven't gotten around to learning how to use them, but it's clipped on with these Night Eyes S-beaners. And then I have 2 just regular carabiners that I put at the bottom. They go around through the straps. This is what I tie my wool blanket onto with the D-rings. So this hooks onto the D-rings on the top of the pack on the lid, as well as it clips onto this bedroll or a blanket, my blanket shirt, so I can tie them all together like that, and it stays at the top of my pack. I got the map holder from Walmart, and the cool thing about it with the markers is that not only can I write on the map, but I can fold the map in a certain way that has a specific region that I'm walking through, and I can write on the top of this. So that really helps out a lot if I'm trying to mark a trail, or if I walk off the trail and I'm trying to figure out where I went. Then I can use my compass and this marker to kind of plot out where I've been, or to mark a camp. You know, good for a potential camp. So that's what's cool about this. I already have it folded in an area that I typically go to quite a bit. So also on the outside I have a hair tie, which my wife is always bugging me for, asking me if I have some hair ties for her. I don't know what it is about women and hair ties, but they lose them, misplace them, whatever. I have a hand sanitizer that I've refilled quite a few times that can also be used as a fire starter, but typically I use it for, you know, whatever, cleaning your hands. Okay, I got this a while back at Value Village, I think it was, and it's a camouflage netting that I thought would be cool if you just kind of place it over the top of a toy. I'm going to use your toy. Or place it over the top of your pack. And so if I'm in an area where there might be people, I can put my bag in the bushes and place this over the top of it. It might help conceal it a little better and make it to where, you know, it's harder to spot. That's the idea anyways. Because I don't like leaving my bag behind. And a lot of the places I go, there's no people, but I mean, you never know. Someone could walk in there and come across your pack and just walk off with your pack. So that's why I have this. That's why I've always kept this, just in case. I have these supermarket bags that I always carry with me, and the reason why I carry these is because I walk out with trash, or I stick a dirty pot into it. Like if I cook over the fire and I don't wash my pot before we leave, then I'll go ahead and just throw it in this. My dog thinks it's fetch time. So the two front pockets. I keep on the outside of my pack, I keep a pair of work gloves. These are leather work gloves. I got these at Costco. They work well. I mean, I take pots off the fire with them. I use them as a kind of a coaster to put my hot pot on it while it's sitting on my lap. So, leather work gloves. Okay, and this pouch here is what I keep toiletries in. This is a, actually I'm sorry, not just toiletries, but toilet paper. So I have a Kleenex in a Ziploc bag. I have those compressed towelettes that are kind of like coins. When you add water to them, they expand and open up into a kind of like the size of a paper towel, a large paper towel. I guess I'm running a little low on toilet paper, and I also have baby wipes. I carry this. This is for my cell phone battery charger, which is a Power Burst, Royale Power Burst that I got from Costco. I think I got this a couple of years ago for 20 bucks or something like that, and it's worked really well. I can get 3 charges on my smartphone with it, or 2.5. Maybe it's more like 2.5. It has dual ports, and that's it. It's not fancy. It just has a battery light on it that tells you how much battery life you have. But I put this in a waterproof pouch that I got from Walmart as well. This is my fire pouch. I also keep this in the outside pocket, and it's not anything fancy. With fire, I try to use natural materials. So if I break this pouch out, I'm breaking it out because I lost patience. Without more time, I don't have the ability to get a fire started with natural materials, which doesn't happen often, but there has been a couple of times, like when I went up with John from Arizona Bushman. We did feathers, we did balsam fir sap, and basically that's all that caught fire was the feathers and balsam fir sap. And you know, Mark from E-Carbs suggested to try his maple bark that he had, and it wasn't that I was scoffing at his maple bark. It was that I lost patience and I decided to go right to it, because at that point we'd already been there for a couple of hours, and we got started later in the day. So I went straight to this pouch because I know that I have a surefire in this pouch. Well, I have birch bark, I have small chunks of fat wood in here, I have alcohol pads, and I have these zip fire starters. So zip fire starters are what I use that day, and I always carry these. These are a surefire. They will burn for 20 minutes, and it will get even marginal tinder or wet tinder hot enough and dry enough to burn. I also keep a pocket bellow in here, and this is something that I find to be a necessity up here in the Pacific Northwest. It is always wet or damp or humid. Even when you think you're getting dry materials, a lot of times it ends up being not totally dry. So a lot of times the fire up here, all it needs is a little oxygen and you can get it going. So this is my surefire pouch, where I know if I use this, I can get a fire no matter what. I always practice to use natural materials, and I always try to use natural materials when I go out, but I'm not always successful. That's just the way it happens. Alright, so that was the first pocket. So that was gloves, toilet paper, and fire pouch. Second pocket. Okay, so what I got here is it was a tent pole bag for a large 12-man tent. And I use it as a browse bag. I use it as a bag to pick up material, firewood, duff, anything you want basically. I use this bag for it. Mostly, I use this bag as a seat or as a kneeling pad. So when I kneel down on the ground, I put my knees on this, The ground here is typically always wet, so it's nice to separate yourself from the wet ground. As well as on a wet log or anything like that, I'll just lay it on top of that and just sit on that if I'm not able to put up a hammock chair, because I'm not always building when I go out. Sometimes I'm just going out for a day hike, and I'm not making camp furniture, so because I'm not camping. So also in here I have, this is my tobacco pouch that Pacific Northwest Bushcraft made for me out of wax canvas, and it has rabbit fur on the inside, a pipe holder and stamper, and up here I have different types of tobacco. I think I have peaches and cream and cherry and something else. So this is my tobacco pouch that I keep in the other front pocket. So this will be in the next video as well. I'm about to do another goods from Pacific Northwest Bushcraft video, and that will also be in there. In this case, right now I have this other tracker in here, which is not always the case. It just happened to be in here today because I just got back from a camping trip and I didn't take it out. So this is the sheath that I made, and this is my stainless steel tracker. Alright, so this is my food bag. This is a Hidden Woodsman pouch, and I'm not sure exactly what he made this pouch for or what he called it at the time, but when he sent it to me, I turned it into a food bag. So I have creamer, coffee, dried fruits, nuts, jerky, and granola bars in there right now with an MRE. So this is that's what I always have in here. Now if I go on a hike or something like that, I'll throw something in here that's quick. But this is my base food kit for when I go out. I always have this amount in here, and like I said, if I'm camping or hiking, then I add to it. I never just use up what's in here. What I have in there right now is a reserve for emergency. Okay, this is my camera bag. So I have a smaller camera. It is a Nikon Coolpix. And so this is what I fit in here, as well as 3 extra batteries and a cleaning cloth. What else do I put in here? I think that's it. Alright, so this is my poncho bag. I don't only just have a poncho in here though. This is a USGI poncho. I have 2 more sets of gloves in here. I have wool glove liners that I wore on that trip with my leather gloves. I also have these, which are kind of like mechanics gloves or voodoo tactical, skeleton cool, tactical looking gloves. I have a fleece beanie in here. It's just a military type beanie. Army Ranger green probably. I have a tarp clip. I have a 50-gallon drum liner. I have a Hidden Woodsman stool for when I bring extra people with me, like my sons, my wife. I can make them a chair, and then I have my poncho. So this is the USGI multicam poncho that also turns into a tarp or a shelter. I used it on the last outing, not my last outing, but on the last video outing that I did was that Bushcraft overnight video, and I used it as a ranger roll with my poncho liner as a sleeping bag. So they call it a ranger roll, but it's actually more like a sleeping bag. So I carry all this in the top lid, on the lid in the mat pocket. So it fits pretty flat. Everything in here is pretty you can compact it and make it pretty flat. So this is always in the lid. I want this to be the most accessible thing that I have because it does rain here a lot, and I do want rain cover. And this bag pretty much keeps it dry, my gloves and everything dry. Okay, this is my mess kit, somewhat. This is a Maxpedition pouch. I'm not sure what the name of this pouch is, but I have a Scotch pad and I have a steel wool kind of cleaner in here, or scrubber, so I can really get down in there and scrub it out. I've been using moss and sand, but it's not always the best application. Okay, so inside I have my cutting board, which is the flat side of a milk jug. My friend Pat made this spatula for me. I always carry it. On this side I have pot grabbers. So my mom gave me these, and I do use them sometimes. It's just these aren't always practical. I also have a regular pair of pot grabbers, and these are super light. I mean, they don't weigh. They probably weigh the same as this rubber thing here. This is the MSR pot grabbers. So that's what I keep on that side. And on the other side I carry all my utensils. So I have my fish mouth spreader that I use as a bail. So this is my bail for my pot if I need it, or my water bottle. This is a Grandpa's fire fork. And basically you just whittle a stick down, you stick it inside this ring here, and you can cook over the fire with this fork. I mean, yeah, you could just sharpen a stick, but stick eventually burns down, this doesn't. Chopsticks. I can make chopsticks, but I just threw them in here because they were already made. A pair of tongs. This is a pair of tongs I got from Firebox Stoves. And I'm not sure where he gets them, but these things are great, man. They actually have teeth on them. You can pick stuff up out of the fire and move it around with a pair of gloves. Light my fire, fork and spoon. This is a kit that I got from Walmart. So this is a spoon that I had a friend make me off of Facebook. We made a trade for the Swiss Army Champ, and he threw in this spoon, which is a pocket spoon. I also have a spork and spatula. This spatula has a rigid side on it that you can cut things with, cut meat, and just a spork, and they nest together. And they came with like a little belt pouch kind of deal. And I put the other spoon in here like this. So that's my mess kit. You can see everything fits together. It's pretty flat. Okay, I also have this bungee, and I always have this bungee on me because I've secured things to my pack and carried things out with this bungee on it. I've also used this bungee to wrap around a tree and hold my pack. This is an adjustable bungee, so you can make it bigger or smaller to fit the circumference of the tree you're trying to wrap it around, or to the distance that you're trying to make it stretch to. So I always have this. These actually come in really handy. I got this pouch from a Hidden Woodsman, and he sent me this pouch a while back with an order that I placed. I don't remember what it was, but this is a prototype pouch for the med kit, I believe, which is the medical pouch. And this is kind of a catch-all for all kinds of different stuff. I've got a lot of stuff in here. Now this has loops on the end of it that you can attach carabiners to and clip it to something. It has a Velcro panel on it. But like in these two generous handles where you can just carry it around with you. Like I said, this is a prototype pouch. This is not what the actual pouch looks like. I'm sure he probably changed the dimensions of it or the colors, something like that. This is a trick birthday candles. I keep in that. This is my first aid kit. This is just basic stuff, but it also has Imodium and things like that in it. Anti-diarrheal. So this is what's called a woodsman's wax I got from Pacific Northwest Bushcraft, and it says all natural ingredients, olive oil, beeswax, lavender, tea tree oil, stuff like that in it. I don't use it a lot, but it does come in handy. I got these as well. This is a fat wood with a hole drilled in it so you can actually wear it like on a lanyard or a keychain. I have two of those in here. This is a night eyes headlamp thing, so if my I always pack extra batteries with my headlamp, but if I needed to, I could stick my flashlight that I always carry with me also in this night eyes headlamp that'll go around my head, and this will secure basically the flashlight to the side of my head instead of the headlamp being in front. So I don't really have a large first aid kit, but I did also end up getting a couple of extras from REI with my dividends. I got this medications accessories packet, which is anti-diarrheal, electrolyte tablets, antihistamine, ibuprofen, acetaminophen, and antacids. I also got these this supplement kit for your first aid kit. This is electrolyte tablets. These are stormproof matches, Carmex. Now I brought this because I was going to leave it at camp the other day and I totally forgot, but this is 4 large nails and some duct tape wrapped around a credit card. Here is a Leatherman, or no, this is a Gerber vise that I got from a friend as my birthday gift a while back. So I have that in here in case I need it. This is a game that I picked up from Fred Meyer's or Kroger's for other people in the U.S. Here it's called Fred Meyer's, and this is a game called Farkle, which is basically it's 6 dice and a scorecard, so you can use the dice, roll the dice, and add up your score. Something just to kind of keep you occupied. Okay, I also have 2 extra cables in here that actually work, just in case the other one stops, and Advil. I switched these out though. I don't have the tablets in here. I actually have gel cabs. So I think I fit 12 gel cabs in there. Write in the Rain notebook. So that's everything that I keep in this pouch. And like I said, this is kind of like a dump pouch. It just kind of, it holds all the extra stuff. There's no rhyme or reason to what I have in here. It's just a bunch of small things that I keep in here, so that way I kind of know where it is. But if I were to make separate pouches for each one of these things, it would actually, I would end up having just a ton of pouches, and I didn't want that. So I also have a Mora Forest Bushcraft, and this is the stainless steel version with the 2 different grinds. So you have your Scandinavian here, saber I think up here in the front, but it's the thinner profile, so you thicker back here and then it tapers up in the front. I really like this knife. I use it a lot for food prep, and other things like that. My wife loves it, so it's kind of hard to give her a knife, but this is more like a kitchen knife, so she feels comfortable with it. So this is what she uses. Okay, so this is another item that like I was explaining, I went on a camping trip, and these are some of the pouches that I take with me. So in this pouch I have toothbrushes with toothpaste already applied. I got this in a huge box filled with these things from Major Surplus and Survival, I think it's called. So these are all pre-applied toothbrushes, and if you just cut the end off, you can use these maybe 2 or 3 times. More Imodium, Advil. This is a wrap for, a sprained ankle or something like that. This is another bag to carry your trash out with. Now this is a is it called a ShamWow? I think. I don't know, it's one of those, yeah, ShamWow. This is one of those towels that's highly absorbent, so it captures all the moisture. I've actually had water in a tent before, and I've used this to take all the water out of the tent because it's super absorbent, and then you just wring it out outside the tent. And I was able to get all the water out of the tent with this one rag right here. So you can also use it to dry off when you get out of when you bathe. Even though it's pretty small, this will actually dry you off if you wring it out a couple of times. So in this one I have, okay, so I have a shampoo in here, red orange soap, and red orange shampoo, and this is a lotion called Cetaphil. I think it's it says moisturizing cream for dry skin. So rashes and things like that. So I always have these. And an overnight, this is my overnight kit now. I don't always have this on me. This is something that I take for overnights. This is a small travel stick of deodorant. It's a Old Spice powder deodorant. And then another small toothbrush with a toothpick on it that I didn't know I had in here, but it fits, so I put it in there, I think. So that is my hygiene kit. That is something that I use for overnights. This is my cord kit. So this has different kinds of cord. So I have non-load-bearing natural twine. So this is for something that I make that might be permanent, but if I left it there, it would be okay because it is natural. This is tarred bank line. This is number 36 tarred bank line, and this is not load-bearing, but I use this a lot for furniture, as well as I'll use this all day if I can, because I don't like cutting up tarred bank line. I don't like cutting up paracord, because it's all expensive. I think this roll right here probably cost me $2, whereas this roll will cost you about 10 or 15. I can't remember. And these are about 5 or 10 bucks. So I'll use this all day long if I can. This is a hank of paracord. This is what, 50 feet? And another hank of paracord, which is also 50 feet. So I have green. I have high visibility if I need it. I have tarred bank line for semi-load bearing, not necessarily load bearing, but if I were to make a hammock chair and tie it together, it'll hold the tripod together, and I don't have to worry about it breaking. This I can put my table together with this and not have to worry about it if I leave it there or anything else. If I can tie a shelter together with this, I'll do it all day with this. Okay, this is my Sawyer. Now this one, I don't recall what the name of this one is. But this is the complete kit, I believe, that comes with the valve for the sink and the hose for the sink, which I took out of here. I don't know why I did that, but anyways. So this is another pouch that I got from the Hidden Woodsman. I don't know what he calls this pouch, but this is a pouch that I got a while back when I got my haversack, I believe, and I use it for my water filter. Now, this water filter actually goes with the bucket that I have in my backpack. Usually I keep the hose and the adapter in here. I also have a shower head that I can take the filter off the hose and put the shower head on it and hang the bucket from a tree and use the bucket as a shower. So that's another part of my hygiene, and this is water filtering plus hygiene. Okay, so we're getting down to the bottom basically. Alright, so I have 3 tarps. I have 2 tarps here, which is the emergency Mylar blanket tarps. I have another tarp here, which is the British surplus. It's called the Basha. And this tarp also doubles as a stretcher. So if I had to carry someone out with the assistance of somebody else, I could. When you fold it in half, it has handles on it, and you can drag somebody out with these. But I believe this is what they call a 3x3, but they're talking about meters. So what, 9x9 or 10x10, probably something like that. I think it's about a 10x10. I could be wrong on that. This is my 12 cm billy pot, and this is another bag that I got from the Hidden Woodsman, and I don't know what the name of this one is. I think this is his tinder bag, if I remember correctly. I think this is what he called his tinder bag. And I got this a while back. I use it to carry my pot in because it's the right size. So I always have this this plastic bag to keep the soot and everything out. These are the tabs that I made myself, and they're kind of a pain in the butt, but they work. I've heated them up enough times, I guess they just kind of spring back to the shape of however I made them. So I've got Starbucks Vias in here. I've got olive oil for my knives. In cooking, I also have a chain with a hook on it that I can use to hang the pot from a tripod. And I can smell something at the bottom. Oh. I have this Old Bay garlic and herb. So that's what I carry inside the billy pot. And these do lock, so they'll lock open or closed, so I can get that off of there while it's cooking. Or they'll make it to where the handle stands up straight, and you can't get the pot off, the lid off, or it keeps the lid on. Sorry for the snoring. My bulldog just fell asleep, and he snores really loud. And even louder since I said something. Undo these buckles here so I can take the bucket out and explain to you about the bucket. I apologize that this video is so long. Like I said, I'm unpacking at the same time. Alright, so this is the bucket that I have in there all the time. This is a scoop away cat litter clump type bucket. But anyways, this is a bucket with a handle, and it's very rigid. The top up here, you can actually carry a lot of weight in this. And this handle, imagine it full of cat litter. It's what's it say, 40 pounds? So that's 40 pounds of sand. I have a hole cut here, which is the adapter for my water filter. It's a screw-on type with a hose, and that hooks onto the water filter further down the hose. If you can see that it's not all the way down at the bottom, because there is sediment and crud that you're going to get in your water, and you want that to be below your spout. So you're not going to be able to use all the water in this bucket, because you're going to capture a lot of sediment and sand and dirt and stuff that you don't want passing through your filter. You want your filter to stay as clean as possible, even though it is going to get dirty. This allows it to capture in the bottom of the bucket while you still have water pouring out. So if I fill this bucket up to the top up here, basically where this line is, I have a good 4 or 5 gallons to take to wash the soap off me. But this is a good amount of water for camp. And for some reason I can't just find a food safe bucket. You have to get like a laundry detergent or a cat litter bucket. I don't know what the deal with that is, why they don't sell square buckets. So this is the Junior, and this is emptied. All I have left is what I have on the bottom down here, which is my shelter system, my emergency shelter system that I have camped in overnight. These I got from the Hidden Woodsman. These buckles are too big on it, and I can't just take them off. So what I ended up doing was tying this to the bottom with paracord. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and transfer everything to the larger pack, and then I'll bring it back. Done transferring it over. So this is what it looks like. Just without that there. That's what it looks like, completely packed up. So the waist belt fits. The only thing I found was that in the other pack, the bucket went up to here. In this pack, you can see there's a good 3, 4, 5 inches there. This bucket doesn't go up that high. And this part right here is hitting my back. It's not necessarily a problem. I just have to figure out something that keeps it flat. Maybe a kneeling pad. I put a kneeling pad there, or a sleeping pad. I don't know. With this backpack, I can fit in. I can fit shelter at the top. I can fit the stuff I took last time that was kind of cramming my backpack totally to capacity, like the down blanket and my down puffer jacket. With this backpack, I'm not going to have that problem because I'll have the adequate amount of room. And this is the loadout that I take. It's not because it filled my other backpack to capacity, but it works for me. So, like I said, I always pack a shelter and stuff like that. I can even put my wool blanket inside the backpacks, which is what I was looking for. So I'm happy that I did this swap. And the Junior will be going back to Rocky Hollow. Just basically a look at what I carry, and also a comparison between the Isle Royale Junior and the Senior, or the larger one. You'll be seeing this pack a lot more in future videos. So I appreciate everybody watching. As always, enjoy the outdoors.